Tyson toy here at Marshall University Stadium, where the Thundering Herd of Marshall will wrap up their regular season today as they go out of conference to take on Southern Conference own Wofford Terriers. Marshall coming into this season had 4 goals set, one of which won the Mid-American Conference East Division. They accomplished that last week. This week, Marshall's trying to accomplish the second goal in that list of 4 as they finish out the regular season with all their home victories. Today it's also senior day as Marshall says goodbye to a lot of their seniors who have been part of the winningest team here in the 90s in the nation. But now Marshall will have to continue on in the Mid-American Conference, of which they left the Southern Conference back a couple of years ago. And ironically, Wofford replaced them in the conference. Since then, Marshall's been one of the winningest teams in the 90s and have not lost to a 1AA team since 1995. As a matter of fact, since then, Marshall is 12-0. A lot of things going on here in Huntington. It should be a good one. Let's send it up top side to the gentlemen who have to call today's game. Let's talk to Keith Morehouse and Sonny Randall. Guys?
Okay, thank you very much, Jason. And as you mentioned, just 2 years ago, Marshall was in 1AA. It seems like light years ago, though, Sonny. Marshall, the last time they lost to a Division 1AA team with a losing record was 1991. A very tough chore for Wofford today.
Well, you know, Keith, on paper, a mismatch. I mean, David and Goliath, and David doesn't have a slingshot here this afternoon. But you remember Virginia Tech, and you remember what took place when Temple came to Blacksburg. The folks at Marshall don't want that to happen here this afternoon.
It is not impossible, and Wofford is not a team without weapons. We check out their quarterback, Travis Wilson. 3 touchdown passes last week against Furman. He's a true freshman, but they like the job he does operating.
Great speed, great quickness, and boy, I tell you what, he runs that wing ball to perfection. He can give you trouble. He truly can.
Travis Wilson is the quarterback, and for Marshall in the secondary, Danny Derricott. This guy has come up big for Marshall all season long. Big interceptions against South Carolina, against Eastern Michigan, and he is the guy that Wilson may have to deal with.
Well, you want to stay away from him if you possibly can, because in crucial times this year, what does he do? He always comes up with that big pick. He's won some games. He's turned some around. He has truly had an outstanding year. He would like to have one, being a senior here at Marshall in his final game.
But, Sonny, the Terriers have one thing on their mind, to keep the ball away from Marshall. They are a ground-oriented team, and they'll try to keep it all day long.
Have to run the football here this afternoon, kid. They run it. They control the ball. They control the clock. Don't think there's any question about that. The other thing is they want Marshall to work for everything. No home run balls, nothing cheap. For Marshall, answers for the wing ball. A little tough to get ready for that just in a week's time. Coach Kevin Kelly, the defensive coordinator here at Marshall, he thinks he's ready. The other thing Marshall wants, they want a knockout. I mean, knockout in a hurry. Send the Terriers home packing. They don't want them hanging around, because when a team hangs around, they all of a sudden think, maybe we can beat these folks.
There you have the Budweiser keys to the game. The Wofford Terriers looking for an upset of monumental proportions for Marshall. A chance to win 10 games in a season for the 8th straight year. We've got Wofford versus Marshall. Kickoff is next. West Virginia, where the Wofford Terriers, 1AA team out of the Southern Conference, takes on the Marshall Thundering Herd. And there's a look at Mike Ayers, coach at Wofford for 11 years, and certainly they've made a little noise in the Southern Conference already. His record 64-55-1, and as we mentioned, they've won 3 games this season. So the Wofford Terriers making a message in the Southern Conference. Bob Pruitt, Sonny, we've talked about his job here. Phenomenal record. And Marshall wisely trying to keep him around, signs him for 5 more years at least.
But still an awful lot of folks around the country wanting his services. So we'll see what happens. But the next couple of weeks, they're going to be most interesting.
Marshall's Thundering Herd trying to finish up, as Jason alluded to in the open, with 10 wins and a perfect record here at Marshall Stadium. They do not lose often, 68-4 since this building opened in 1991. The Herd has won the toss, and fans in the crowd hoping for that return trip to the Motor City Bowl. But right now, Marshall just has to get out here, take care of business against a Wofford team that would love nothing better than to ruin this season.
Well, Coach Mike Ayers, he looks at this game, and his players do, as their bowl game. They got nothing to lose. They will throw caution to the wind. It should be a Donnybrook here early.
The Terriers beat Furman earlier this year, in-state rival, in-conference rival, and make no mistake about it, probably the biggest win in this program's history for some time.
That made their season, and I don't have to tell you what it did for their program.
Wofford will kick it off. Back deep to receive for Marshall is Maurice Hines, and he'll pick it up at his 6-yard line. Hines now looking for some room, but he's hit hard immediately. And you talked about the Terriers being fired up. Ben Day on the stop, and Marshall will take over first down at the 18-yard line. Chad Pennington, Marshall's outstanding Davey O'Brien candidate, will quarterback the Thundering Herd. His numbers most impressive this season: 21 touchdown passes and only 5 interceptions. And they will try to throw against a secondary that has a couple of good-time players, but we'll see if Marshall can move it through the air. They may try it very early.
Jumbo look.
Chapman has it, first carry of the game, about 5 yards up the middle.
Wofford will mix it up. Gave you a lot of different looks defensively. They would certainly like to confuse Chad Pennington, but that's a lot easier said than done.
Look at the offense now. There we mentioned Chapman and Gerald Long as a receiver with Cole Claw, John Cooper, and Greg Kellett, the fine tight end freshman. Chris Scheich, 6'7", 350 pounds, the big man at left guard for Marshall. 2nd and 6 now for the Thundering Herd. Chapman is the lone setback for Marshall. Swing pass. LaVorne Cole has it. And LaVorne Cole has first down yardage out over the 30-yard line.
Trevor Ellison, linebacker, makes the stop for the Terriers, but not before L.B. Colclough picks up a first down.
And as you look at number 4 for Wofford, he is the guy to watch. They think he can play at the next level. Tony Young, senior cornerback from Union, South Carolina. 1st and 10 for the Herd now from the 30-yard line. Pennington wants to throw, and he's looking sideline, too high for LaVorne Colclough. Good coverage there by the man we just mentioned, Young.
Tony Young up front. The Terriers had a little double that time on Colclough. Tough to get the ball in there.
The Wofford's Terriers give up about 200 yards a game passing, so Marshall will try to exploit them both on the ground and in the air as we look at 2nd down and 10 now. That's John White, the tight end, in motion. And that's Chapman left side. Doug Chapman, pretty good yardage out to the 35-yard line. Stood up there by the Terrier defense. Stop made there by number 27, Trevor Ellison. And that will set up 3rd down at about 6 for the Thundering Herd.
That time Wofford had 7 in the box. Chad Pennington checked.
There's Louis Black, big man on the defensive line for the Terriers. Joe Werner, the outside linebacker, senior. He likes to get after it. And the guy we talked about, number 4, Tony Young, senior corner, the guy to watch in the secondary. Pennington now back to throw. He's got a lot of time, and he's looking deep, wide open. And that's Gerald Long. Gerald Long, 65 yards for the touchdown.
A little showboat before he got to the end zone, but Long knew that was 6. Did not take long for the Herd to strike. That's the one thing that Mike Ayers didn't want. Did not want to give up that home run ball. And what does Marshall do? They dial long distance right out of the box.
Alashevich will come on to attempt the extra point for Gerald Long, his 3rd touchdown catch of the season. Kick is up, and it is good. And very quickly, with 13:01 left to go in the 1st quarter, the Marshall Thundering Herd with some thunder. We will take a break. You're watching Mid-American Conference Football on the Fox Sports Network.
Last thing he wanted to see. Make him earn everything. And that one didn't come too tough.
Pennington exploited single coverage on Gerald Long, and Marshall now will set to kick it off. This is J.R. Jenkins. Back deep to receive for Wofford is Jeff Scott, who stands at his 5-yard line. Scott will take it at about the 9. Looks for some room, but upended very quickly there. Tackle made by Michael Kool-Aid Owens as we look at the Marshall bomb once again.
Marshall spreads the field. Chad Pennington, 7-step drop. Long runs a post route. You could see, juggles the ball just a tad, but nobody close. And Long, just a little bit of how do you do getting in the end zone?
Here's our look now at the first time at the wing-bone offense, which is a variation of the wing T and the wishbone. And Wilson throws it on first down. Nice yardage. Catch is made out there by Brian Davis. So a little trickery because Wofford doesn't throw it a lot.
Well, when you're doing all that faking back there, a little cross action, you squat the linebackers, it'll give you man-to-man outside. That's exactly what they got.
Travis Wilson, just a freshman we mentioned from Newberry, South Carolina. Heavily recruited, but had a knee injury in high school. Some of the schools backed off, and Wofford feels to be the beneficiary. The give is to the fullback. That is Miles Lane, who gets about 2 or 3 yards, but will have a first down, and Marshall will watch the chains move.
Their fullback, a good one. Straight ahead, nothing fancy. Miles Lane has a big, good-looking offensive line.
They do have a big line indeed. Eric Cole is the senior center. He's the anchor of that line. 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line for the Terriers now. McNeil in motion. Lane gets it again. This time there's not much up the middle. Maybe a yard. Girardi Mercer, George Miller in on the stop.
This wing bone really a combination of the wishbone and wing T. It's pretty much assignment football. You've got to stay at home. If not, you can get burned.
2nd and 8 now after the gain of 2 for Travis Wilson and the Terriers. Wilson wants to throw it again. His receiver slips down but still makes the grab. Nicely caught out there by Jeff Scott, pardon me, as the Terriers going to the air perhaps a little more than we might have thought.
Again, Travis Wilson fakes the dive. You squat the linebackers. He gets it outside to his receiver. And the chains move once again.
Defensive line, Ricky Hall wants to get some pressure on Wilson if he indeed intends to throw like this. John Grace, the outstanding outside linebacker. Rogers Beckett, big-time player in the secondary. But another first down for the Terriers as they move it close to midfield. Bright Bill in motion, the tight end. Now Wilson strings it out. Gets about 4 yards out there before John Grace takes him down.
We mentioned before, excellent speed quickness. Travis Wilson showed just that. Running that whirly bird option.
Wofford averages about 255 yards a game on the ground, but Travis Wilson now will exit. Looks like he's holding his right hand. Coming in for him is the backup quarterback, number 15. That is Alan Thompson, sophomore from Murray, Kentucky.
And the Terriers, I believe, want to talk about it. They've called
in the saddle. 2nd and 3 now for Wofford. The give is up the middle. And maybe a yard or 2 for the fullback.
I thought if you were hurt, you had to leave at least for one play. But maybe because of the timeout, he was able to return to the field.
Ron Puggy on the stop. Now it will set up 3rd and 2 for the Terriers. Really 2-down territory. They're a gambling team, Sonny. They'll take a lot of chances, and really, from their vantage point, why not today?
No question. They're going to have to lose everything to gain.
Fullback is Lane. Hunter and McNeil are on the wings. Pitches to McNeil. Left side. Got room and a first down. So the Terriers mixing it up nicely on the Thundering Herd.
Maurice Hines makes the stop, but not before Wofford picks up a first down. Will Hunter, the ball carrier. Here it is. Hollis McNeil, I'm sorry. The ball carrier.
So another first down for Wofford. Travis Wilson this time wants to throw. Looking over the middle, and it was thrown behind his receiver.
Nobody home. He had an open receiver. Little miscommunication.
Wilson is a big kid, 6'2", 185. For Mike Ayers, stood with him in the recruiting battles, and after the knee injury, some of the teams like Clemson and Wake Forest backed off him. And now he finds himself as a starting quarterback as a true freshman.
And you can understand the way he's played here early, why he is the starter. Option.
Wilson's got it, but he's got a handle. He just pitches it out of bounds. Not much he could do. Trod Bugs over there to disrupt the play.
This wing-bone attack, you got to get some help from the secondary. A little whirly bird option. You can see Travis Wilson, very, very nifty. Lets the ball go late. Will Hunter had to run it down. There's the pitch, real late.
Now it's 3rd and 10. And the wing-bone offense not suited for this kind of situation, but we'll see what Wilson has in store.
This is 4-down territory. Shuffle pass.
Inside Woods, and there's nothing doing as the Marshall Thundering Herd defense closes. Fuji on the stop.
That old Utah pass, the shuffle pass. Fuji spells it out very nicely.
Junior from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is right on the
There's
spot.
the little shuffle underneath. Fuji right there. Fuji could have taken the pass.
Now they set up to punt. Again, it's an interesting proposition as to whether they'll do so or not.
They needed one more player. It does make it a little easier when you got 11.
Brandon Kale will kick it.
But as you mentioned, look for anything.
Look for the corner. Damone Williams is down. Looks like a pretty good kick if the coverage can
Real good kick.
catch up to it. Indeed it is. As the Terriers down at Chris Edwards is down there. So Marshall will get it back offensively when we come back to Huntington, West Virginia. Marshall Stadium, the Thundering Herd by 7. Marshall's defensive stand with the Wofford Terriers with a big mental mistake here, Sonny. They had a chance to down this at the 1.
And Trevor Ellison comes sliding in there. And what does he do? Kicks the ball in the end zone. So it comes out to the 20.
Chris Edwards had the situation in hand, but Ellison, in his zeal, kicks it into the end zone. Marshall now back with it at the 20-yard line. Good pass out there to Pope is incomplete. But if Wofford is to have any chance this afternoon, they can't make mistakes like that.
Got to play almost a perfect game. That time Chad Pennington looking down at his feet. Didn't get upset exactly the way he wanted to. Rained yesterday most of the day. And the turf just a little bit catching just a tad.
2nd down now. Doug Chapman picking his way for 3 or 4 yards. Stood up there by the defense. On the stop, Joe Werner. Travis Cash was also in on the stop. Tackled by committee for the Terriers.
You know, for Wofford, it's like a bowl game, and you can understand why. For Marshall, Coach Bob Pruitt, a little bit concerned because, you know, his seniors and his big stallions that he has don't want to get hurt today and try to save themselves for the championship game, which will be right around the corner, the MAC championship game when Marshall gets together with Toledo. So if there's only one way to play the game, you've got to go all out. You're a little too cautious, and that's where you will get hurt.
3rd and 6 now. Pennington drops to throw. He's got time. And his receiver caught out there by Tyson Hagel for the 1st down. You mentioned Wofford, Sonny. The last time they played a 1A team was 1981. They played Clemson the year the Tigers won the national championship.
And they hold the series edge with Marshall. Here's Pennington. Outside, little stop route. Enough for the 1st down in Chambersburg.
These two teams played, Sonny, in 1952 when Wofford won it 41-21. They tied in 53, 26-26. Marshall looking to even the series today. Pennington all kinds of time. Looking deep. And it is caught. What a grab out there by James Williams, who beat the fine cornerback Tony Young on the catch.
You talked about Tony Young being a big timer. You'll find out today if he played a big time. Great throw and a great catch. Tony Young, the victim here. Just a post route.
35 yards on the play.
Pennington on a 7-step drop.
First down at the Terrier.
On the post. Excellent throw and a heck of a catch. Does not get any better than that. James Williams on the receiving end.
35 yards on the reception. 1st and 10 now from the 33-yard line for the Herd. Long is in motion.
Boot.
Pennington has got time, and he had some receiver. Now he finally goes to the side, where it was momentarily caught and then dropped by James Williams.
That was a great example right there. The receiver taking his eyes off the ball, wanting to run before he catches it. Easy to do. Williams all along, looking to maybe where he was going to run before he caught it. Boot action. Here you see Pennington avoiding a little pressure, buying a little time. Gets it outside. Oh, you're starting to look where you're going to go.
Pennington's numbers on the afternoon already impressive. 116 yards, 2nd and 10 from the 33. Handoff is to Chapman. Still on his feet. Doug Chapman pounds it down inside the 25 to about the 23-yard line, close to a first down.
Looked like he might bounce out of the crowd. And had he bounced out, he would have bounced in the end zone. That big offensive line you talk about, Marshall. A mismatch up front. Chapman continues to ramble. He picks up another first down.
Travis Cash had to make the stop. 1st and 10. It is indeed enough for the first from the 23-yard line. Chapman has it again, picking and choosing his hole there. Gets about 5 or 6 yards. Stop there is made by Cash, and also Joe Werner is down there.
I know our viewers are not aware of it, but the fire alarm has gone off here in the stadium. And the first time I see smoke, you'll be doing a solo act. Because I'm going to be history.
Mike Ayers seems unconcerned.
No, it doesn't bother him. He's afraid that fire alarm's going to go off in the end zone again.
The pitch is to the wide side. Doug Chapman. Chapman takes it.
Touchdown!
Doug Chapman from 18 yards away.
Marshall making it look easy. Oh, the big man. He put the hurt on that seat up back when he sat back down.
Here's another look at Doug Chapman.
Toss sweep into the boundary. You can see excellent blocking up front. And all he does is watch in the end zone. That was easy, real easy.
Kick is no good on the extra point. Billy Malashevitz misfires, but Doug Chapman's 14th touchdown of the season gives Marshall a 13-0 lead over the Wofford Terriers. Wofford in just its 4th year in Division I AA, but you know what, Sonny? I think they've sent a message in the Southern Conference. A lot of Southern Conference teams thought, hey, there's a new whipping boy in town, but they've proven themselves this season.
And with just 40 scholarships, Southern Conference 1AA allowing 63 with 40 scholarships. They have done one heck of a job in a short period of time.
Well, they have a job on their hands now because just 5:56 to go in the first quarter. Marshall already with 2 touchdowns on the board. And the Terriers, who move the ball well offensively, want to try to get that again.
Chapman taking off his shoulder pad. Could he be through already?
He may well be. Has had a shoulder problem for much of the year, so maybe for a precautionary measure, he may sit down for the rest of the day. But back deep to receive for Wofford is Jeff Scott, the wide receiver from Daytona Beach, Florida, and J.R. Jenkins with a high kick and a deep kick. Scott from inside the end zone will bring it out. And Scott gets out over the 20, fumble, and we'll see who's on it.
They're blowing it down, said the ball was dead.
Another look at the Doug Chapman touchdown, Sonny.
This one was awfully easy, the toss sweep into the boundary. Excellent blocking, as I mentioned, out front. Chapman with very little to do. Big time back, big time run, and a big time 6.
1st and 10 now for Travis Wilson and the Terriers. Inside handoff. Pickup of about 4 yards.
Little counter action.
Hunter, the ball carrier.
You run that counter, you do keep those linebackers at home. A little misdirection. Wofford loves to run that play action. There, look at Will Hunter's numbers.
Pretty reliable, averaging more than 6 yards a carry. They pretty much have running backs by committee down there in Spartanburg. 2nd and 7 for the Terriers. Wilson this time rolls and wants to throw it. Got a little bit of heat, but a great pass. Very well thrown pass and a great route out there run by Hunter, and it is a first down for Wofford.
You have to like the touch on the ball. Excellent touch.
Made by Michael Owen.
Hunter comes up with the ball, and the Terriers, they move the chains. Another look here. Travis Wilson on the move. Sets his feet. As I mentioned, excellent touch there. Will Hunter makes the reception.
Out to the 38-yard line are the Terriers now. First down. Wilson keeps it himself, but he is pretty much snowed under there. Tackle made by Carlos Smith. But you have to like what Mike Ayers has done, Sonny. They ran the ball primarily all season long. Then they began to find out that Wilson could throw it, and they've begun to put it up more.
They put it up, but they know today they have got to run the football. One complements the other. If you can run it, I promise you can throw it. If you just go to throwing it, you're going to be in a heap of trouble in a hurry.
But you're right, it is a great weapon to have, especially if you're a wing bone, offense, triple option, whatever you want to call it. It's a nice diversion. First down, second down now, and Smith again is on the tackle to give us to the fullback, and not much there. So now that sets up 3rd and 6 for the Terriers.
All Hunter got was no gain and a headache. They break the ball. Hunter goes up in there like he was going in a minefield. Wasn't a whole lot there. Big 3rd down for the Wofford Terriers. Want to hold on to the ball.
3rd and 6 for Travis Wilson. Hunter is in motion. Wilson to throw it. Plenty of time now. He's flushed. Looking deep. He's got a receiver. It's caught. And Jeff Scott has it down inside the 20-yard line. Actually, the 21-yard line. Big play for the Terriers.
Actually, this was a naked boot. A lot of credit goes to Travis Wilson. Watch the boot here. He doesn't have anything. Buys a little time. Now throws it. Jeff Scott run under the ball. Tell you what, that was a heck of a throw and a heck of a catch. Travis Wilson showing us a little something here. Well, look at that touch. Just enough air under the ball to let Scott run under it.
Rogers Beckett tried to get there in time. He did not, and Wofford is in good hands right now. Lane has it, still on his feet. Look at Lane.
That's going to 6.
Touchdown for the Terriers. So Wofford comes right back at Marshall. A moral victory is not something they're after here today. The big pass from Travis Wilson and then the Miles Lane touchdown.
Just when you thought Marshall was going to knock him out, the Terriers, they answer. Lane, their main man, straight ahead runner. He went straight to the end zone.
Matt Martin on for the point after. It is up, and it is good. So the Wofford Terriers with an answer for Marshall, 13-7 now.
That might provide a little wake-up call. You can see the Terrier fans across the way. They came in a couple of vans, I'm sure.
Smallest football playing school in Division 1A or 1AA. Just about 1,100 students go to school there.
And can you believe the average SAT scores for their football players? 1,100. They can play football, and they also read and write extremely well.
They have a bunch of guys who have to miss practice to go to labs, and they do not miss class there, that's for sure. When you look at Mike Ayers and what he's done, Sonny, with the 1,100 students, about 1 of every 8 people you see on campus plays football there. 1 of every 8 boys, of course, or men as they are today.
And when you look at them, you know they've got to compete in the classroom as well. You talk about those labs. They a lot of times have to practice at night because they can't miss those labs in the afternoon. A whole lot of places would miss the labs.
Senior from Blunteville, Tennessee. Let's watch it again.
And be at practice. Ayers comes ripping up in there. What a nice run. Miles Lane. And Lane has been special all year long. Not real fancy. Straight ahead. Runs awfully tough.
There's a look at the drive. Big play was from Wilson to Scott, and then Lane does the rest, his 7th touchdown of the season. So the Terriers are back into this one, 13-7, with 3:39 to go in the first quarter. Kicking deep will be Eric Lanford. And Marshall's got it about the 18. That's Maurice Hines, who's tracked down there by the Wofford special teams. The tackle there made by number 43 for the Terriers. That is Kevin Hudson. So Marshall has it again.
Excellent coverage by their kickoff team. Hines not really a whole lot of room.
Hudson from Charlotte, North Carolina, just a sophomore, makes the stop. So Marshall has it again offensively. 1st and 10 from the 18-yard line.
Wofford got 8 in the box.
Pennington now looking for his big tight end Kellett, who's got it out over the 25-yard line to about the 26. Let's go downstairs to Jason Toy now.
All right, thanks a lot, Keith. Quick update for you on Doug Chapman, who's back in the game. Wasn't calling the quits early. What it is, you touched on his shoulder problem that he's had all season long. Well, he's wearing a pad on either side of his shoulders to give him a little bit more extra support. It's called an impact pad. Well, they said it was weighing him down. He's weighing him down. He felt like 300 pounds out on the field. He wanted them taken off. He feels comfortable with the strength in the shoulder, so he yanked these off. He's back in the game.
All right, thank you, Jason, and that may mean he's even faster, and Wofford probably doesn't want to hear that. But second one after a gain of 9, this is Chapman, and look at it. Maybe the pad did make a difference up to the 47-yard line.
Take those pads off, makes him a lot quicker. Chapman wanting to feel the total impact.
Remember, he just needs 83 yards to break 1,000 for the season. He already has 66, so just 17 yards away.
Looked like for a moment here early, as you see Chapman again, Marshall was going to put this one away. But boy, Wofford has answered. Now Marshall with the ball, moving it once again.
1st and 10 now from the 48-yard line. Chapman is the setback. He'll get it again on a delayed draw. And Chapman's got a lot of room. Pounds it down inside the 50 to the 45-yard line. Stop is made by Brian Boder from Bridgeport, Ohio, about 150 miles from here. Boder was recruited by a lot of schools in the MAC, Akron and Kent, to name a couple.
But ended up going south.
2nd and 3, gain of 7 for Chapman now.
This is what you call a throwaway down. You might do anything with the ball, and you might go deep, but instead they run the dive.
Carry is by Chapman. He does get the first down.
The thinking being, when you got 2nd and 3, hey, let's go downtown with it, take a shot. We know we can make the first down running the ball. They decided to run the ball and make the first down right away. Right at you. Doug Chapman, excellent blocking up front. Chapman rambles for another first down.
Chapman's next carry will put him over the top. Well, that is exactly 1,000 yards then. No Marshall running back has ever done that. Now Pennington looking deep, looking for Nate Poole, but good coverage by Young, and the safety Travis Cash came over as well. So Young, Poole was well covered by Young.
Young and Poole run step for step. Nothing there, as you mentioned. Excellent coverage. Pennington nowhere to go with the football. So he throws it down in the end zone where nobody can get it.
Second down 10 now from the 36. Pennington looking over the defense. They play a 3-4, does Wofford. Swing pass out there to Copeland, who's got it. Sidesteps a defender, gets about 7 yards. Chris Edwards was on the tackle.
Edwards on the
Give
stop.
Marshall a flat, they'll take it. Pennington to Coleclaw. And it'll bring up 3rd and about 3.
Marshall comes off an open date, Sonny, and some wondered whether Marshall should take an open date so late in the season, but it was good for them to heal a little bit physically and to take a break mentally from football after 10 straight weeks.
Jumbo look.
Chapman with it. Tries to kick it outside, and he is stacked up there, and he will be short of the first down.
I'm sure they'll go for it here. 4-down territory. Chapman nowhere to go. Had the ball, bounced the ball outside. They actually lost yardage. Toss sweep into the boundary. They bring the 2 extra tight ends in. Not able to get the corner hooked. Loss of 2.
Fourth down and 5, and Marshall will go for it. Trips to the bottom of the screen. Here comes a blitz. There's a wide open Washington, and Chad Pennington overthrew his intended receiver, and that may have been 6.
Wide open. Lanier Washington. Pennington, let's let that one get away from him a tad. You don't see that very often. When he has one open, He hits them on the numbers.
The Terriers were bringing some heat, and that caused Pennington to hurry just a bit, but when Washington was wide open.
Maybe had to throw the ball just a little bit before he wanted to.
Wofford now with it from the 31-yard line, down 6 points, and they've given a carry to the wing back for a gain of about 2 yards. Derricott and Grace stop McNeil.
Tell you what, when you're facing this wing ball, you have got to have some help from the secondary. You can't get them all accounted for with your down people and linebackers.
Second and 7 now. Hunter goes in motion. Wilson wants to throw it. Guns it out to the side. It is incomplete. His intended receiver was Brian Davis, his favorite receiver.
That ball just a little bit out of the reach.
Third down, 8 yards to go.
On the reverse, Wilson looking outside. That wasn't real pretty, was it?
Mike Ayers now with 3rd and 8. Former coach in the Southern Conference with East Tennessee State, so he has been here before when the Buccaneers used to come to Huntington.
He says it's a whole lot different now.
Wilson again wants to throw it. This time it is way too high, and now the Terriers will have to give it back.
Brian Davis, the intended receiver, slipped down. Ball a little bit too tall. So the Terriers forced to punt it away. You know, defensively, you can run this all along and get the looks during the week against this wing bone, but it's not the same when you go live. Look out, that one should have been blocked.
Marshall brought the house, had the penetration, and they'll watch it roll inside the 30-yard line to about the 26.
They all ran past upon it.
They came after Cale, didn't they?
Cale just let him go by. That one should have been stuffed. Watch it again. They actually run by the punter. Right there, all you got to do is lay out. There were several folks had a shot at that one.
George Miller, who blocked a punt against Eastern Michigan earlier this year, was the guy who ran past Cale.
Hodges looked like he had a shot at it also.
Just 11 seconds to go before the end of the first quarter. Marshall 1st and 10 from the 26-yard line. 3 receivers to the bottom of the screen. Little slip screen out there to Nate Poole, who's got some room. Poole strings it out to about the 40-yard line. Knocked out of bounds by Young, but it will be 1st down and enough for one more play before the quarter.
Little slip screen. One of Marshall's favorite plays. High percentage type throw. They've got the receivers that can turn it into big ones.
You mentioned Wofford plays a 3-4. Will be severely tested here by the Pennington passing game. Going
Got a
deep.
man. Wide open.
That is James Williams. Down to the 20-yard line, and he can fly. We call him Fly Williams. 41 yards on the reception.
And if the ball hadn't taken him out of bounds, that was an easy 6. Another look here. Chad Pennington to James Williams. As you saw, the ball just took him a little bit out of bounds.
So Marshall making another run right now from Huntington, West Virginia. Mid-American Conference football on Fox. Beautiful afternoon for football, Huntington, West Virginia, where Marshall leads at 13-7 over Wofford. 1st and 10 now from the Terrier 19-yard line. Chad Pennington already with 187 yards passing. And looking for more here on 1st down. Passes outside, and that is Colclaw over James Williams, who gets a block. Williams now down inside the 10. Knocked out of bounds there. But James Williams having quite a day.
James Williams lined him up for the herd. Little screen action. Pennington out to Williams. Little spin around. Williams with that great speed and quickness. The only one there to stop him, Tony Young.
Junior from Raymond, Mississippi, already with 3 catches for 91 yards. 1st and goal now from the 4-yard line. football, and Nate Fuller wide. This is Doug Chapman kicking it outside.
That's 6.
And Doug Chapman, 3 passes to the end zone. For number 22, his second touchdown of the day, puts Marshall back out to a 2-touchdown advantage, or what will be a 2-touchdown advantage if the Herd decides to go for 2 and does convert, and they will go for the 2-point conversion.
Missing the extra point. Only logical they go to 2 here early.
Williams, Poole and Long are wide to the top of your screen. Chapman is the tailback. Quick slant, and it is incomplete, intended for Poole. Off the upright, and Marshall is now stuck at 19-7 lead. From Huntington, West Virginia, Mid-American Conference football on the Fox Sports Network. Over the Wofford Terriers, Doug Chapman with a touchdown.
Marshall going for 2. Actually, this is the touchdown. Chapman bounces it outside. Makes it look easy. No contain. The other folks are going to run it in. And that's exactly what Chapman does. Makes it look easy, real easy.
4-play drive, 74 yards, capped off by that Doug Chapman touchdown run. So J.R. Jenkins now will kick it back deep to receive for the Wofford Terriers. Is Hunter, who stands at his goal line. Coming out now towards the 20-yard line and right away, number 91 for the Herd on special teams play. That is Sam Goins making the stop. Let's go downstairs to Jason Toy.
All right, thanks a lot, Keith. Max Yates, who is a freshman for the Thundering Herd, who has been slated to be a real big contributor for this team this season, broke his ankle against Miami back about 7-8 weeks ago, and now this is his first game back. He's wearing a brace that goes above his calf muscle to give him a little bit more support. He came over to me with a smile and said, "Jason, it feels great." He's having a good time being back out there. Guys?
Thank you, Jason. 1st and 10 now for the Wofford Terriers. The give is to McNeil, who's got a big hole out over the 30-yard line. Rogers Beckett on the stop.
That counteracts it. You don't stay at home, it'll burn you. Rogers Beckett having to make this stop from his safety position. Little hand back, the counter. You can see a big hole.
Carlos McNeil, just a freshman.
McNeil running like an upperclassman.
A little shaken up on the play. He'll come to the sidelines. But another first down for Wofford. A lot of people watching from all across the country. I'd like to say hi to people at the Olin building on campus at Wofford. They're watching in the amphitheater. Also, sports bar down there by the name of Hillcrest Sports Club watching.
Also, Mulligan's at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. A large group of Marshall people watching.
That's Wilson with it on first down. Gain of about 4 or 5 yards. Dwayne Lewis and Damone Williams on the stop.
And with all that big gathering down there at Mulligan's in Myrtle Beach, a special hello to 2 former All-Americans, Fred Blake and Danny Williams.
A lot of people watching in on the satellite. For Wofford, only their 2nd televised game. They haven't lost on TV, though, so perhaps a good omen for the Terriers. 2nd and 6 now. Gain of 4 on first down. Hunter in motion. The give is to the fullback, and it's big yardage for Tony Hudson for another first down.
Hudson rambles. The Terriers not backing off. Tony Hudson, a fullback, 5'11", 215, just a sophomore from Rocky Point, North Carolina. Runs low to the ground. Got that low center of gravity. A little bit like that bowling ball.
First down 10 now for the Wofford Terriers. Wilson wants to throw it this time. Got some heat. Was looking out there for Davis. Well covered and some good pursuit by the Marshall defensive line.
Travis Wilson a little slow to be getting up. Got some serious heat. You know, when you get your feet set, you throw the ball just a little bit different. Here's this serious heat I'm talking about.
John Grace, Girardi, Mercer closing in.
Mercer draped all over him. Grace right there as well.
Second and 10 now from the 44-yard line. Hudson has it again. This time about 3 yards up the middle before Marshall's interior defense gets a hold of him.
Straight dive. Whether it's a wishbone, turkey bone,
Max
you
Yates,
got to stop the dive.
as Jason told us about on the stop, just a freshman, and says he wants to get some game action here, Sonny, so he can be ready for the MAC championship game on December 4th.
We were talking about folks watching the game from all over the country. They got an unbelievable gathering down at Damon's in Jacksonville. Holiday Inn in Damon's, they are rocking this afternoon.
And Wilson steps to the line and then calls timeout. Saw something he didn't like. So he and Mike Ayers will discuss it. Timeout
Wofford.
at
That's the
Marshall
first timeout of
Stadium,
the half.
Huntington, West Virginia, where the Terriers and the Herd hooking up. Marshall lead. Conference Player of the Year. As we've got some discussions going on the field. Now that we are set to play. 3rd and 6 for the Terriers from the 48-yard line. Hunter is in motion. Wilson pitches to Hunter. He's got a block, but also Max Yates out there with a big-time stop.
You were talking about freshman linebacker Max Yates. Mad Max. Happy to be back. He makes an excellent play on that option. Here's another look. Down the line. Pitches to his back. Will Hunter. Mad Max makes a stop for Marshall.
And it's a fake, and they have got it. They have converted. We talked about their trick plays, and how about Wofford coming up with one there? The completion out there to Jeremy Scott, and it is a first down for Wofford.
Fooled us, but we knew they would just throw it out the window and see what happens. There's your punter. Oh, my. That was miraculous there.
Brandon Kale to Jeremy Scott, and the Terriers are back in business now from the 45-yard line.
Dive.
Fullback has it, not much there.
That was ugly. But hey, when you get it done, it looks real pretty in the paper the next day.
Well, we talked with Mark Cohen, the sports information director for Wofford. He says, don't be surprised at anything you see this afternoon. Onside kicks or fake punts or going on it for 4th and long. Everything is fair game for Mike Ayers today.
Might let the air out of the ball.
Gain of 2 on first down now. 2nd and 8 from inside Marshall territory. McNeil is in motion.
Reverse.
If they give it the other way, not much there for Mr. Hunter on the carry.
Max Yates again. You can tell he's happy to be back. He missed the action. Boy, he's in the fray here this afternoon. You would never have thought with a broken ankle
That he could come back.
that he'd be back playing this year.
Shows a little bit of his resolve, obviously. 3rd and 6 now for the Terriers from the 41-yard line. McNeil in motion. Wilson, the pitch, it's tipped by John Grace. And I believe Grace has fallen on
Yes,
Marshall
sir.
football.
What a play by John Grace. Wofford wanted to run the option.
The junior from Okeechobee, Florida. Watch him
There's
disrupt it,
tips.
Sonny.
That was done by John Grace. Travis Wilson, the ball got away from him. Big play by a youngster that has made big plays all year long.
One of the great pursuers on Marshall's defense. So it's 1st and 10 for the Herd now from the 49-yard line of Wofford. Chapman has it. Good yardage. Down to the 42-yard line before he's brought down. So the big guy nearing 100 yards on the day.
Marshall quarterback Chad Pennington just counting them in the box. That'll determine pretty much what he's going to do. 5 in the box that time. You knew they were going to run the football.
Gain of 7 on first down. 2nd and 3 now for Chad Pennington. Greg Kellett is the tight end. 2 wide receivers to the top. Chapman has it again. Doug Chapman.
Look out.
Down the left sideline. And Chapman, if not for some balance after he was knocked out of bounds, may have gone the distance.
Little tightrope on the sideline. And if not for Greg Horton, I believe Chapman would have gone the distance. You can see Horton here just able to knock Chapman out of bounds. Marshall controlling things up front. And when you control the line of scrimmage, good things happen.
And the junior goes over 100 yards for the afternoon. 1st and 10 now from the 26 for Chad Pennington in the herd. This time he wants to throw it wide open out there, and all kinds of time is Hagel. Tyson Hagel takes it inside the 20-yard line.
Little reverse by Pennington, the quarterback. Getting it outside. Tyson Hagel does the rest.
Gain of 7 yards for Coach Bob Pruitt.
Got real excited at the moment. Knows his folks are in charge. You love those 2nd and 3s, believe me.
There's the pitch to Chapman, looking for some room. The Wofford defense pursues nicely.
But that's enough for the first down.
Stop made by Boder.
As Chapman turns that toss sweep back inside. As you mentioned, Boder there to make the stop for the Terriers, but not before Chapman picks up another first down.
From the 14-yard line now. Coatclaw and Nate Poole are out wide. Kellett is the tight end. Chapman again. Down inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line. Stacked up there by Travis Cash. Chris Edwards also on the stop.
Edwards, Cash getting together with Mr. Chapman. But when you pick up 7 down here, look at that hole. Whoop. Nobody was on the screen.
2nd down 4 now from the 8-yard line. Marshall leads at 19-7, 8:59 to go before halftime. Pennington wants to throw at the slant. Is open. Intercepted in there. That is number 4. That is Tony Young, the big quarterback. And Young can fly. And what looks like a certain touchdown turns into a turnover for the Thundering Herd as Tony Young comes up with a big play.
As you mentioned, that had 6 written all over it.
Looked like the intended receiver was Lanier Watson. We'll watch it again. I don't want to say until we see.
Right out of his hands, into Young's hands. I could pick up the Marshall receiver.
Nate Poole, I believe, number 3 was the intended receiver, Sonny, but...
right through his hands, into Young's hands. And boy, Wofford brings it back up the field. There it is, tip, Young, in business. And you can see why he's a Southern Conference pick. All Southern Conference.
Terriers back in business. The throw is out there, and it was nearly intercepted. As Marshall and Wofford playing keep away, Doug Hodges nearly had it in his grasp.
Carlos McNeil, the intended receiver. But as you mentioned, Hodges almost picks it off. I think that time Travis Wilson got a little bit too much air out of the ball. There's a look. Wilson. Hodges almost took it the other way for Marshall.
2nd and 10 now for the Terriers.
Reverse.
Reverse is out there. There's room for McNeil, but it closes quickly. Maurice Hines on the stop.
Looked like that one might go a ways.
While we have a moment, want to take a moment to thank Schlotzsky's Deli, home of the original baked fresh daily deli sandwich. Schlotzsky's Deli on 4th Avenue in downtown Huntington, providing our crew meal this afternoon.
The crew enjoys that banquet each and every week. And Schlotzsky's puts it on big time.
So Tony Young's 4th interception of the season gives the Terriers back the ball now, though they have a 3rd and 8 with about 8 minutes to go now. Big time 3rd down for them. Wilson has heat from John Gray, slips away, going for it all. It is caught. What a play by Brian Davis as he improvises double coverage, and Davis comes up with it.
Actually, the ball really underthrown. Travis Wilson couldn't get anything on this ball because he was getting some heat. Ball is underthrown. What a catch. Downfield, look here. Fake this lead. Under duress. Ball is thrown downfield by Travis Wilson. What a nice job at coming back to the football.
First down now for Wofford, deep into Marshall territory from the 15-yard line. Wilson checks at the line of scrimmage. McNeil in motion. Give us to the fullback, nothing doing there. But how about the Terriers, shaking them up a little bit here.
It doesn't look real pretty, but the Terriers able to make it exciting here in the first half.
Marshall doing all it can to disrupt Wilson, who's just a freshman, but he's been pretty cool under the circumstances, Sonny.
The underthrown balls, receivers coming back for him. But this youngster playing just a freshman, Travis Wilson, he's been getting it done.
First penalty of the game.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense.
I was going to mention to you, we haven't heard from those receivers this afternoon.
They're rather quiet. Good look at the Mike Ditka lookalike. Some great stories about
He's about
people
6 inches.
mistaking him for Mike Ditka.
Yeah, about 6 inches shorter and about 100 pounds lighter.
And not nearly as fiery on the sidelines. Wilson has it. Now he's got trouble. He's flushed. He's being chased all over the line, and he's down back at his 30-yard line.
I tell you what, nowhere to go with the football. That was a coverage sack. Travis Wilson wanted to get rid of the ball, but great coverage in the Marshall secondary. Here's the look. Off that counter action. All Travis Wilson is doing runners for his life, and his feet come out from under him.
Hugie, Carlos Smith, and John Grace were all chasing.
He drew a crowd.
Now it's 3rd and 25 for Wofford. Hudson is the fullback. He's got it. Picks up about 6 yards. Gerardi Mercer on the stop. And now we'll see if Wofford will indeed gamble on 4th down.
You'd like to get a little of it back. Maybe not all. I would think field goal here.
They've got to get the 6-yard line for a first down.
At least they're going to line up for a field goal.
That's right. Nothing is for certain here. Matt Martin is on, number 21.
All options are still open.
Martin 4 for 6 on the season, has kicked a 47-yarder, so this is within his range. Kick is up.
A little short.
And it is no good. So Marshall turns back the Terriers after the interception in the end zone by Tony Young, and the Marshall Thundering Herd will get it right back. And we will be right back. Mid-American Conference football on the Fox Sports Network. Marshall has the football. Coach Jay Hobson. Marshall back with it now. First attempt from the 24-yard line. Time of possession there as we see Low Turner for the first time this afternoon. Big yardage, first down yardage out to the 36-yard line.
Marshall has 2 excellent running backs. They'll ding and dong you. You'll get a dose of Chapman, and then you'll get a dose of Mr. Turner. 22 and 32. But when they bring those fresh legs in, it does make a difference.
As we mentioned, Doug Chapman already over 100 yards for the day, so now it's Low Turner's turn. First and 10 from the 35-yard line. Again, about 4 yards this time. Stop made by number 50 for Wofford on defense. That is Ben Day.
When you watch the line of scrimmage and the ball snap, there's a new line of scrimmage. I mean, the green jerseys are knocking the white jerseys off the ball 5 and 6 yards. And they got a couple of big folks to knock off that ball up front.
270, 255, 279 across the front. Gain of 4 yards on first down. Pennington wants to throw it. Looks for Colclough. Great catch out there. Inside Wofford territory. Another Marshall first down.
Tried knocking Luke Black off the ball. 6'1", 280. Excellent pass and catch. Another look on the boot.
Pennington to Marshall, quarterback to LV Coklaw. As you mentioned, Keith, excellent reception there. The change move for the Herd once again.
From the 45-yard line now.
Swing
with it. Gerald Long inside the 40. Long finally taken out of bounds.
And hog time.
The 24, Vance Jones on the stop.
That should bring a flag. Don't know if it will or not. Don't see any. As you mentioned, Vance Jones.
There is a flag down, in fact.
Didn't see it for a moment, but I thought they would draw one.
Following the play, there was a personal foul on the defense. Half the distance, first down.
You can make the tackle, but you can't be extra vicious. There's the look. There's Vance Jones. Oh, when you slam him down like that, I promise that'll draw 15. Right there. He's out of bounds. No way, Mr. Jones, you just knew you were going to get 15.
Gerald Long with the big gator. Now 1st and 10 from the 13-yard line. Turner with it up the middle. Picks up about 3, close to the 10-yard line. Cash is there. Also Boder on the stop. Low Turner, a junior from Manassas, Virginia.
Marshall's got the field now in the end zone one more time here before halftime, and they'll take control.
Coklaw and Poole are wide. John White is the tight end. He is in motion. Turner with it again on the outside. Inside the 10, inside to about the 6-yard line.
Marshall now content to hammer up front.
Mike Ayers looking on, hoping his defense can turn Marshall away once again. Stem the tide somewhat.
Bouncing the ball outside. Low Turner takes it to the 5. As Coach Bob Pruitt looks on. Head man at Marshall.
John White is the tight end in motion now.
Toss sweep.
Low Turner with it.
Drive down, that's a comeback. I believe that's a hole.
Low Turner went in, but as you said, flag on the far side.
The referee threw this one. I believe it's a hole. Yes, it is. That was too easy. The hole was too big. There had to be some holding.
Holding, offense. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat 3rd down.
It sets up a little different situation now for the Thundering Herd. 3rd and 12 it will be.
Another look, toss sweep. See if we can pick up the hole. 78, locked up. You got to turn loose.
Fact is, probably, Sonny, he didn't have to hold, for the hole was already made for Low Turner, but regardless, it is now 3rd and 14 from the 18 for Marshall.
Kind of tough to miss Jamie Rogers. Big as he is.
Pennington throws it out in the flat to Turner, and he is tackled at the 11-yard line. Play made by Joe Werner, so Marshall now with a decision on 4th down.
You know, when you're 6'6", 305, it's real tough to hide down there. Especially when you're holding.
J.R. Jenkins in to kick the field goal, and he has not been Marshall's regular kicker. Malashevitz has, so a little change here for the Herd. Kick is up, and it is no good. So yes, indeed, the Wofford Terriers do turn back the Thundering Herd. Interesting choice made there by Bob Pruitt. Billy Malashevitz, 12 for 17 on field goals this season, but he goes instead for J.R. Jenkins, and now he wants to talk to somebody.
To talk to the kicking coach. Marshall contends to shoot themselves in the foot.
Well, you had the interception by Young, and then you had, of course, the missed field goal by Jenkins. Gives Wofford new life now at the 20-yard line.
Counter.
McNeil has it, and he is absolutely stoned.
Good job, defense.
At the point of impact.
Drew a crowd.
If you enjoy surfing the net, have access to the internet, you want to check out what the Herd is doing, www.herdzone.com for your latest scores, statistics, and updates. That's www.herdzone.com. Gain of 1 on first down for McNeil, 2nd and 9. Wilson with it. On the option, and nobody out there except for McNeil and Maurice Hines, and a loss of yardage for the Terriers.
And I'm not sure McNeil wanted the ball. Maurice Hines, as you mentioned, right there. Out of the Marshall secondary. Here it is on the option. Speed option. There's the toss. McNeil there, but nowhere to go.
Everybody's staying home in that assignment defense. I'm not going to question Mike Ayers, Sonny, but with 1:57 to go, maybe try to run a little clock off and see if you can get this to the locker room. Very manageable, 19 to 7 lead.
Well, the last thing you want to do is your ball carrier go out of bounds to stop the clock.
3rd and 12 now. Hunter in motion.
Marshall, I think, will call timeout right here.
Miles Lane gets the carry, but again, Wofford will have to punt, as you say.
And Marshall calls time, which I thought they'd do. I'll tell you what, that's a whole lot of time for a quarterback like Chad Pennington. A whole lot of time.
That's the first time out of the half.
Not much time taken off the clock for that series for Wofford. And now Mike Ayers' defense will have to come back out. And how many times do you wonder can they stop Marshall?
You're not going to dodge a bullet, but just so often. The other thing, Marshall has 2 timeouts. So when you look at the clock, 1:51 and 2 timeouts, they could go a long, long ways. Marshall faithful shaking their head just a bit. You know, people wonder about Wofford, playing Wofford, coming in there this time of year. But when you stop and think about it, who wants to come to Marshall Stadium to play? They can't get anybody to come in here.
They do have difficulty scheduling big-time 1A opponents to come in.
And when you look at their one-loss record, you can understand why.
68-4 in this stadium. And the Terriers just hoping to make an impact in the Southern Conference and have done so already this season.
That win over Furman, the win for them over Furman, has just done unbelievable things for their program. It was huge.
They also beat VMI quite convincingly, 42-20, and Western Carolina 17-10. So any thoughts that they would come in and be the whipping boy have vanished, because Wofford make a statement in the conference.
And I'm just amazed, having only 40 scholarships, Coach Ayers has been able to do the job he has done. Absolutely remarkable.
Cale on to punt it, and this time he will punt away from Damone Williams.
Out of bounds.
And that was a gift.
Oh, that surely was. Look where they're going to spot this one, right at the 40.
Damone Williams was standing at his own 40, so about 20 yards difference as Cale decides to kick away from the dangerous Damone Williams.
Maybe he fell out of bounds at the 40, was a little better than kicking it to Damone Williams. Being questioned by the manager over there.
Williams with one punt return for a touchdown this season. So Marshall's offense with 1:46 to go before halftime.
You know they're going to air it out from the gun.
Low Turner is the setback. There are 4 wideouts for Marshall.
Rush forward, cover with 7.
Turner will have it and then drop it. There wasn't much there anyway because Wofford's defense recognized it. Roland Tucker came up.
Ball a little bit underthrown. Also not real sharp here in the first half. You can understand why, but bottom line, there are no excuses. You just got to crank up and play, regardless of the opponent.
2nd and 10 now for Chad Pennington. Swings it out wide. Gerald Long has it, but the coverage is good. Maybe a gain of 2 or 3 at the most.
Might have to use a timeout.
Joe Werner on the stop out there. Marshall will go with the quick offense. No huddle. 1:23 to go. 3rd and 8. A gain of 2 on that one. High snap. Pennington gets a hang on it. And then throws it. Caught and then dropped by Lanier Washington. So Federal Herd having its problems here inside Wofford territory.
Well, when the ball was snapped high, that kind of destroyed Pennington's rhythm. Still an excellent throw. Here's the high snap. Pennington does a heck of a job of pulling it down. Then is able to throw the ball. I'm talking about right on the money. Washington not be able to come up with the ball.
So Marshall will go for it. 4th and 8 now. Trying to get another one on the board here before halftime. Another high snap. Pennington, a lot of time.
Got his man.
He does indeed. Gerald Long, the second touchdown of the afternoon.
That'll get the folks off their seats here this afternoon. What a throw and what a catch.
38 yards from Chad Pennington to Gerald Long, Sonny.
Pennington to Long. You're talking about touch in the air under the ball. You don't throw it any better than that. Extra point's good.
And Marshall does make some noise just before the break. Josh Thompson, the inside linebacker, tried to get over, but certainly Long's speed was too much for the Wofford secondary there. There's your look at Gerald Long.
Well, when you try to double outside, you expect the safety to get there. And when the safety doesn't get there, normally it's going to be a big play for the offense. Pennington, perfect throw, excellent catch. Long runs under the ball, and Marshall is on the board once again.
And on senior day, the senior from Mount View, West Virginia, coming up big. Gerald Long. His 9th career touchdown. As you look at the scoring drive, 4 plays, 40 yards. And Chad Pennington, Sonny, has 295 yards passing.
And we haven't reached halftime. We thought he'd light it up here this afternoon, and to this point, he has not disappointed.
Well, and to be fair to Wofford, there's nobody in the Southern Conference who throws the ball like Marshall. There's no quarterback in the Southern Conference like Chad Pennington. So this is pretty much new territory for them.
Little knuckler. Uh-oh, that's live.
That is live. Chris Edwards with it, and he is immediately met by Marshall's special teams. And with just 59 seconds to go, perhaps now Mike Ayers will take a seat and head to the locker room.
Chris Edwards knew what was about to happen when he let that ball get away from him. Coach Ayers looks on. I know one thing. He doesn't want the Marshall offense back out there again before halftime. Marshall coming on the blitz.
That's right with it. About 3 yards. Ron Poogie, Dwayne Lewis are there. John Grace as well.
Right now, you'll go to the house. Down 26-7. And feel like you're hanging around.
So the Terriers look like they will indeed let the clock run out. Just 27 seconds before halftime.
And
Wilson takes it out of bounds for some inexplicable reason. He thought maybe he'd be alone on the outside, but Marshall was not fooled.
Did not find himself alone. And if anything, just stay in bounds to let that clock run out here before halftime.
Boy, they'll talk about the way Travis Wilson lit up Furman for a long time to come in Spartanburg. Huge rival.
Believe me, Travis Wilson, he is a mighty fine quarterback. True freshman. There's the option.
And that was initially a first down. Now it looks like they may have...
Well, the clock's going to run out regardless.
Yes, indeed. That was Hunter on the carry.
They're calling time, but what, 8 ticks left?
timeout. Marshall, that's their second timeout of the half.
Well, the thinking in Bob Pruitt's mind, perhaps, is to get it one more time and at least give it one more shot to the end zone. However, that would mean that Damone Williams would have to down a rather fair catch a punt, and he hasn't done that all season long.
No. So there's no way he's going to start today. Pennington, Coach Pruitt, looks like they're on a first-name basis over there.
Well, with
talking it over?
Yeah, the way Pennington has thrown it this afternoon, don't discount the possibility of perhaps finding something big before halftime.
He just said, Coach, get it back for us one more time here before it ticks away. Terry's going to have to punt the ball away.
Les Cale wants to run around for about 8 seconds, but that's a difficult proposition.
Because Marshall still has a timeout.
Unless the Thundering Herd may well come after it as well.
Remember, they just missed getting one earlier. Here they come.
And it is blocked. Marshall comes away with the block, and there are 3 seconds to go. And yes, indeed,
That's all they wanted.
the special teams comes up huge.
Now, do you kick the field goal, or do you try to go in the end zone? You only got one shot. Here they come.
Looks like David Foy, number 37, got to the punter. And yes, indeed, Marshall has brought out the field goal unit. This time,
You take the 3.
it is Billy Malashevitz, Sonny, on for the attempt. It'll be a 28-yard field goal attempt just before halftime. Spot is down, kick is up, and it is good. So Marshall gets a punt block by David Foy, and Billy Malashevitz kicks the 28-yard field goal to take us to halftime. 29-7, Marshall leads it.